Alright, welcome back to Fast Gadgets. Are you an Xfinity or a Comcast user? Then by now you know that you have a 1 terabyte cap on your data if you're using the internet. Little bit of a problem because it's interesting how easy it is to go over 1 terabyte. Have I gone over 1 terabyte? Let's find out. So, with Comcast or Xfinity, they do supply us with a tool called the usage meter, and you can log in and have a look. And they gratefully tell me I have 922 gigabytes remaining of 1024 gigabytes or 1 terabyte for the month. But what's interesting about this, you'll see here we've got December 1st through the 4th, so 3 days. And I've already used 102 gigabytes. Now, when I say I have to include, of course, the rest of my family. So we have 5 people in this household. And 102 gigabytes is quite a lot in a period of 3 days. Now, what does that mean for me? I was a little bit concerned about last month, so let's have a look at November. I don't know if I want to look at this. But here we go. Hopefully I didn't go over. No, I was safe in November. I actually only used 863 gigabytes of 1024, which was actually the most I've used so far, I think. Let's go back and we'll check October. And you may recall I did a story on this already, so consider this an update. But I used 848 gigabytes in October. And September was the first month they actually provided us with tracking, and we used 774 gigabytes. So the trend is upwards for data. Now, what are the applications that we're using? Well, in this family, our primary applications that we use, we have a couple of people who play games quite heavily here. But I really don't think the games are causing the issue, because my experience with games is that for the most part, you have the client on your computer and then you connect to a server, so all the rendering and all the video is taking place on your local computer and not actually on the server, so there isn't a large data exchange back and forth between you and the server. The other thing that we use quite frequently is Netflix. So if you're a Netflix user and you have the 4K or high resolution version of Netflix, you may see a significant usage of your available bandwidth. I only have the standard Netflix package, and I really haven't done a check, but I have heard that at the supposed HD level, Netflix streams are around 12 megabits a second. And I've also heard that if you're doing 4K, it really isn't 4K, not even close. It's actually much lower than that. And the third application that's used heavily in this household is YouTube. So you do have to be careful with YouTube. On your TVs, depending on what your viewing distance is, one of the things I've noticed with my TVs, if I actually select 720p, for example, it will thereafter play all the videos in a maximum of 720p, so it does reduce the definition of the video, which reduces the overall stream. And I have watched streaming and then use my network monitor to manage and see how much data I was using. And if I go all the way up to 4K, because I do have a 4K TV and I have a 4K system here that I'm actually recording this video on, unfortunately, it can be way up there. 30 to 40 megabits is not a surprise at all, because the 4K content on YouTube is actually very, very nice. So if you have a 4K TV and you put it on auto, or you have a computer and you put the resolution setting on auto, it's going to try to get the best stream it can, depending on a couple of factors: network congestion locally on your network congestion over the internet getting to the server for YouTube. So You do want to be careful because a majority of the time on a 4K TV, if it's set for auto, it'll probably play it in 4K, and it would chew up your available bandwidth really, really fast. So it's something to consider. Other factors to think about are any of the other rogue apps that some people may be using on your network. Are they downloading any content? There's a couple of things that many people don't think about. For example, Steam. If you install a new computer and you put Steam on it and you say, you know what, I want to download all my games. These are the 5 top games that I play, so I'm going to go ahead and click them and start the download. And it tells you, okay, well, the download is 300 gigabytes. Well, that 300 gigabytes is going against your cap. And another factor to consider, if you use torrents. Now, I use torrents quite often to download new ISOs of Linux. So there's many different Linux versions out there, and an average torrent may be 2 to 3 gigabytes. So let's say I download the torrent, that's 2.3, maybe 3 gigabytes that I'm going to incur against my total data cap that I have. But then I leave it on seeding, and I don't have any limitations. Well, it's possible during that seeding period you could be chewing in heavily into your home internet usage. So you do want to be careful, because uploads also incur a penalty, or rather take away from your total available data for that particular month. So watch out for those applications, and you should be okay. But for Comcast or Xfinity to say, this is only the top 1% of our customers using their household, in the households that actually use this entire 1 terabyte is ridiculous. I'm going to go with the top 30 to 40%. I literally think 40% of the families, because they're trying to save money on TV by not getting TV stations and boxes and things like that, digital boxes, they are actually using Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, streaming services, much more. I really wonder if this is Xfinity's way of saying, hey, let's incur a penalty for a household if they go over. Maybe it'll encourage them to get a TV package, right? Because it won't cost you anything. Anyway, you do get 2 courtesy months. So if you go over, you are charged $10 for each 50 gigabytes that you go over, up to $200 a month. So I'm thinking if you end up going over 1 terabyte, you're certainly going to go over 50 gigabytes. So it's probably going to cost you a pretty penny. However, for 2 months out of the year, they will waive that any fees if you do end up going over. So theoretically, it can only happen 10 times in a year. If you really are independently wealthy, I would say, and you're not looking at your bill, it's possible you could lose $2,000 in a year if you're not paying attention. Scary thought, isn't it? Alright, hope this video was useful to you. If so, let me know. Drop me a comment, give me a like on the video, and of course, subscribe and share, and I'll see you next time on Fast Gadgets.